back to the Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. We're going to spend some time talking to Mike Johnson. He's with a company called MorrisonInnovations.com. I'm going to talk a little bit about, some creative ways of marketing, creative ways of reaching the people you're trying to do business with. Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself and Morrison Innovations.
Well, sure. I actually come from more of a design background, came up through the ranks of a NASDAQ company in Rochester, learned internet marketing, had to unlearn that when I went into the private sector and figured out how to really do kind of direct response prospecting. And that's what we do at Morrison Innovations. Technically, we're a promotional items company. In the real world, we've turned it into kind of a systematized prospecting business where we help other businesses find their dream clients through some creative marketing.
Okay, so kind of give me step by step how that looks.
Well, one of the things we do is we kind of piggyback on prospects' enthusiasm for things like their digital devices. For example, one of our bread and butter items is a simple iPad cleaning cloth. And what we do is we combine that with a multi-step mailing. We send them, for example, we send them this cleaning cloth with a call to action tailored, for each company. And it comes in not looking like your traditional direct mail. And if I could step back for a second and say we use direct mail a lot because that's an easy way to show up. People think of it as an old medium, but you come in with kind of a little lumpy, bumpy envelope, and people look at it. They get interested. Then you give them a little surprise. And one of our main done-for-you campaigns uses like this little screen cleaner with a message, then a unique little stylus, and then another little promotion at the end. And it's kind of tied in around this theme of, hey, we're trying to get your attention. We want you to see this picture clearly. Here's how we can help you, and so forth. So the idea is not to show up like a commodity, like most promotional businesses are these days. We've kind of gone away from the order taking and turned it into, here's how we can create customers for you.
Okay, and so and it's really innovative products too. It sounds almost ridiculous to say it on the radio, but I saw here at MorrisonInnovations.com an iPhone 5 bottle opener case. That's just smoking. It's just, even if they never open a single bottle with that, I can see them say, hey, look what my iPhone can do. Even if they never do it, it's got a sense of humor to it. It's clever. And I look down the list of things here. All of them are either extremely clever and conversational pieces, or they are have great utility.
Yeah, and they speak to a lot of different audiences. That's, you think of a bottle opener iPhone case, maybe the younger generation, the bar crowd, but at the same time, it's the guy on the fishing boat making deals for, whatever agency and so forth. So, a lot of thought goes into getting the right message to the right audience. And that's why we serve different niches.
Let me ask you, what are the companies that are typical clients for you? How big are those companies? That type of thing.
Yeah, we've got we look at a lot of different verticals. For example, we work with bread and butter manufacturing. The sales rep needs something to get their proposal noticed. A lot of these guys are working off requests for proposals or something, and they don't want to show up the same. With these guys, we can go in and give them some messaging to go on their cleaning cloth, and so what if it gets passed to the owner's kids or something? It has enough of that recognition factor to cut through the clutter. And then at the same time, we deal with a lot of larger companies that fall more into what we call brand advertising. For example, Adobe or Marriott or something at a trade show can come in and give away promotional items with their name on it that already has a lot of cachet. So we serve two markets, the very brand-oriented company and those that need more of the direct response type of messaging.
Interesting. MorrisonInnovations.com. What exactly do you do for the company, Jason? Mike. I'm sorry, Mike.
I sit on the fence with sales and marketing. A lot of what I do is exactly what I do for our clients. I find the new prospects that fit our model. I help them design their messaging, and then I help them track it. A lot of these companies, and I don't want to speak ill of the free pen because we all use those. We use them and give them away. But with something like that, you don't necessarily know who's using it, if they've gone to your website or called your number, and we help them track things like that. So it's not just a lost advertising budget. So I'm riding the fence between sales and marketing.
Okay. How big is the company, by the way?
It's really small. There are three of us and a fourth part-timer. We're outside of Rochester, New York, which is closer. I always tell people closer to Buffalo than New York City. It's a big state, much like Texas. And we do everything from there. Now, a lot of our stuff is sourced and made in the U.S. So we do, we've got a lot of other people involved in the process, but we stay small and lean.
Mm-hmm. And Rochester, how far is that from New York City?
I'm sorry?
How far is that from New York City, Rochester?
Yeah, we're like 350 miles. It's a nice little trek down the highway.
Yeah, it's a pretty good stretch, absolutely. Mike Johnson, Morrison Innovations, MorrisonInnovations.com, and there's something like a gift to get the attention of those you want to engage with. And really enjoyed visiting with you today. How many trade shows do you guys do? You all personally do trade shows, or do you merely help clients with trade shows?
No, we're behind the scenes. We help companies and event planners with all their trade show stuff. So,
awesome.
Working behind the fence.
Mike, thanks so much for being with us.
Appreciate it.
When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you again, MorrisonInnovations.com, MorrisonInnovations.com to get more information. Meanwhile, I'm Kevin Price. You're listening to The Price of Business. Best content here. It shows up over there at USATheReview.com. While they're liking on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.